Hi, it's Bruce Wallstrom, and I'm speaking to you on behalf of the Weeders Digest, and we're calling this the Weeders Digest Radio Interview. And today we're speaking with Kirk Whatley. He's the National Sales Manager of Sonic Solutions. And Kirk, I think first I want to welcome you to the show, and most importantly, would like you to tell us a little bit about the new product that you represent and what it can do for people that live on a lake or on a pond, a golf course, or a variety of different applications. So welcome today.
Well, Bruce, my pleasure, and thank you for having me on, and I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, our device is an ultrasonic device that you put into the body of water, and what it does is it interrupts the reproductive cycle of blue-green and filamentous algae, and it does it quite effectively. We've got 500 installations around the world, ranging from golf courses to private ponds to decorative ponds with koi fish in them, all the way to wastewater treatment plants and wastewater lagoons.
Well, one of the things that obviously pops up right away is to think of something from a ultrasonic. It's foreign to most of us. How is it from maybe a safety standpoint? Are there concerns of people that would either be swimming in that water or taking fish from it or having decorative plants in there? That would seem to be a real concern.
Well, I understand that, and I hear those questions quite often, but what I can say is that our technology is very safe. First of all, from a power source, we only put 24 volts into the water, which is not very much. We only draw 0.4 amps to keep the device actually running. And from a safety perspective, the ultrasonic frequency is targeted specifically at the blue-green and filamentous algae. We've got them used in ponds that have prized trout in them, and like I said, koi fish. We're safe for frogs, snakes, alligators, whatever may be in your water as well. So from that aspect, the device is actually very safe and is perfectly safe for people, and even if you go swimming in the water, it's perfectly safe.
And now, when you say safe, it leads me to be somewhat skeptical and say there must be some downside. Is there something that I should be concerned about the long-term impact? Has that been studied? Is it approved by any particular organizations that would say that it's safe?
Well, right now our power supply is UL listed. And also, we've received NSF certification, which basically means that we're the only approved ultrasonic device that can be used in U.S. public drinking water supplies. But to get back to your question, we do not have the studies right now. However, we are part of a study this summer that's going on in a major southern state. They're funding it, the state government is, and the study is being conducted by a major American, very well-recognized university. And they're going out, they're using our device in the lab right now to see if it kills algae, it prevents it from growing, which it does. And then they're going to bring it out to the field, and they're going to have a report done at the end of the summer to explain to us exactly how this technology works.
Now, a lot of our listeners, I think the majority of our listeners kind of fall into the lake, the pond, ornamental pond, golf courses, as we had mentioned. In those types, it would seem the biggest decision on buying something like this and applying it is maybe the return on investment, and that being that would I be able to get rid of the chemicals that I would normally be using to get rid of my algae?
In most instances, you absolutely would be able to. We did a project out in Lake Ketchum, Washington, where they had a 27-acre lake that people went swimming in, they went boating in, there were houses on it, kids played in the water and all that kind of stuff. And they had a very serious algae problem. And what they had been doing is they had been using chemicals in there. And they had been spending, let me get the exact dollar figure on that, they had been spending $26,000 a year for 2 treatments in the lake to control the algae. That's chemical treatments in the lake. In 27 acres surface area of the lake, we were able to put 9 of our units to successfully control the algae in the lake. The cost of the 9 units was $36,000. In that particular case, this lake association had a return on investment of just about 16 and a half months. All right, 16.6 months is the exact number.
Okay.
But they had a good return on investment. This is something that can be used with multiple units in a larger area to control the algae very successfully.
And how about from my decision to buy one, how long would it take before I'd really know if it's working? Do I put it in, plug it in, and sit back on the dock and watch it disappear?
That would be nice, I got to tell you, Bruce. Actually, the optimum use of our device is to put it into the water either after the ice melts, or if you're lucky enough to live in a place where the ice doesn't form, but prior to the algae season. And what happens is as the algae spores germinate, they'll come up, and if they like the environment that they're in, the germinating spores will secrete an enzyme telling the other spores that this is a great place to be, guys. Let's set up shop here. And then you get that nasty algae bloom. What our device does is it hits the algae as it's germinating, and the algae interprets the ultrasonic wave as an environment that it does not want to basically set up shop in. So therefore, no enzyme gets secreted, and therefore, no bloom happens. So from that perspective, it's very easy to use. You're not going to see an immediate result. If you have an algae problem currently and you're smelling it just doesn't look good, and you put one of our devices in, it will work, but it may take 3, 4, or even 5 weeks before you start to see a significant change in the algae that is in front of you. But yes, it will work. One of the questions that also comes up is, well, if I have a nasty algae bloom now, can I zap it with chemicals and then stick your device in? And the answer is yes, of course you can. So you can knock down your current bloom with chemicals if you choose to, stick our device in, and we will control the algae from coming back. Or if you want to go all natural and not use any chemicals, just realize that once the algae has really set up shop, it may take several weeks after you put the device in before you start to see anything of noticeable significance.
Now, it would seem to me that so much of the time here at the Weeders Digest, our calls come in just like that, is that as human nature would be, we're not proactive, and so the decision gets made in June or July, maybe even into August, when the call comes in and the pond is green scum over the top. Help, I need a solution. So what you're saying is that in combination with chemicals, you may be able to hit it hard, but regardless, it really just takes patience to be able to see it work.
Exactly, and this is something where what we're doing is we're interrupting the reproductive cycle of the algae. If you have algae on the pond already, it's not like you're going to plug this in and we're going to fry the algae. Again, it only draws 0.4 amps. We're only putting 24 volts into the water, and that's an environment that's safe for all the other aquatic life that may be in the water, as well as people going swimming in the water. And we really don't want to have something that you put in and it fries the algae automatically, because you got to stop and wonder, what's it doing everything in there? What's it going to do to me if I stick my toe in?
Right. And which is a good question. I know that we've already kind of answered this. It has no effect on plants. I know a lot of people coming to us looking for solutions for weeds, and a lot of times I think that the area between, for a layperson, the weed and the algae are sometimes not necessarily determined, but once determined that this is a weed or an aquatic plant, the Sonic Solutions product will have no effect on it. So it is key to make sure that we know what is in there that we're dealing with, correct?
Correct. And Bruce, I noticed on your website you've got a great link on there for looking at your weeds and determining what they are, which is, as I was looking at it today, it's really great. But our device will only target the blue-green and the filamentous algae. If you have duckweed, cattails, anything else that you may have on your web page that's not blue-green or filamentous algae, we're not going to be affecting it.
Okay. And I think that's a key thing to determine, because we obviously want our listeners and our customers to know that they're buying the right product. Now, we're also going to be setting up a rental program through your organization. Tell us a little bit about that. As far as what I see, that is the perfect opportunity for somebody to see if it works, and actually I should put it this way, to see the results. And once they've seen those results, they can make a decision. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, it's a great rental program, and almost all of the sales that we do are through the rental program. Unless someone has units already they're very happy with, and they'll just buy the new ones flat out. But what we do is we have a try-to-buy program, and what we do is it's a rental of $300 a month. We do require that you keep the unit for 3 months, because that's plenty of opportunity to really see how